All right, man, Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe to the page. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. So today I'm going to react to a video called Is Street Rap Dead? Or Street Rap is Dead. It's by July Jackson, actually. So y'all go and subscribe to his channel. You know, the source will be in the description. Y'all know that. So look, man, let me get my spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing if you are not subscribed. If you're still on the fence, you know, just consider. I mean, let me work for your subscription. Also, too, if you like the content, hit the like button. I'm really botching this John today, but I'm gonna get it right one day. Yeah, also, too, if you want to donate to the channel, links will be on the screen. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content, and that is free. They call me the hidden gem. All the beautiful single ladies, put a 1 in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones at, man. So look, we're going to get right into the video. There's no stopping. So look, man, let's get to it. All right, so let's get to it, man. July Jackson.
You already know what time it is. It's your boy July. Let's get straight to it, man. And y'all see the title, The State of Street Rap in This Era. As we all know, street rap has been a primary staple in hip-hop since the rise of Ice-T and NWA, then later on birthing street rappers like Snoop Dogg, the Notorious B.I.G., DMX, Jay-Z, Jadakiss, 50 Cent, The Game, and much more. Street rap has had an interesting rise and fall and rise again in hip-hop since its birth. In my opinion, the golden era for street rap and hip-hop was from 1998 to 2008. Had the rise of
1998 to 2008 street rap. Was that the golden years of? I probably would go a little further back than that. Street rap, 90, probably 92, 90, 94, 92, 93, 94 for me. That's when Illmatic, I believe Illmatic came out 92. 94, I believe it came out. I'm not sure, but the early 90s was the best street rap for me. That was the best street rap. The early to mid 90s. The late 90s, I don't know about that. But let's keep it going.
DMX, the rise of Jay-Z with other street rappers like Lil Wayne, T.I., 50 Cent, Jadakiss, Beanie Siegel, The Game, Cameron, Gucci Mane, Plies, Rick Ross, the whole Houston movement during that time as well. This list is long when it comes to that era birthing a lot of successful street rappers. It was damn near the standard to be a street rapper during that era in hip-hop. Even rappers like...
But, all right. But most of it was watered down. It was more of a mockery of street rap. Not to say these dudes wasn't good at what they did, but it was a shell of what it really was. It wasn't like, oh, well, these guys represent the real street. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a big difference between somebody like T.I., who's considered a street rapper, versus somebody like let's say I don't know, like a Ransom or something. Like that's a totally different thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, or Styles P, I would say. But I understand where you're coming from. Let's keep it going though.
Lil Bow Wow, Nelly, and Jermaine Dupri, who weren't necessarily street rappers, but their style and appearance were there like they were. Eminem was wearing damn do-rags for God's sake. But it was the culture. This how rappers were advertised at this time for the most part. Just like how the fake Goody Two-Shoes pop artists were advertised at the same time, like NSYNC or Britney Spears. Portrayed like they had it all together and was good role models, but was really batshit crazy and had real mental problems going on that wouldn't get exposed until later on. After this...
All right, bro, I gotta give you some pushback on that though. So I love rap, bro. I'm loving rap. I love street rap. I'm from the streets. But you can't sit here and say that these people had mental issues that went on when street rappers constantly talk about things that are detrimental to black people, bro. I'm just being honest. I ain't trying to hate on you. I ain't trying to hate on nobody. I'm just saying. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you gotta call out the bullshit that street rap has been doing for years, bro. For years, street rappers have been batshit crazy. Some niggas literally got songs called "Throw Your Guns in the Air" and "Buck Buck Like You Just Don't Care." I hate your fucking guts and I hope that you die. Like, bro, the lyrics in some of these songs is insane. But I understand where you coming from when you say that they were pushed, that they were crazy. But it's kind of on the flip side of that. Some of these street rappers wasn't crazy, but they were pushed like they were crazy. They were loco. You know what I'm saying? That's how they wanted people to think that they were crazy. So it's kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Era of street rappers having massive mainstream success, around the end of 2008, things were starting to change. By this point, Jay had gotten older and DMX and 50 Cent had been past their prime. T.I. and Wayne was about to be headed to prison, and as far as street rappers like Plies, Rick Ross, Jeezy, and Gucci Mane, they had steady mainstream success, but were never able to reach massive mainstream success to carry the torch to carry street rap into the next era of rap.
I don't know about that. You cannot put Plies in the same boat as Jeezy. That's wild. You can't put Plies in the same boat as Jeezy. Jeezy literally has like 3 classic albums, and his albums are successful. Inspiration definitely was a mainstream album. You know what I'm saying? My President is Black was one of the biggest rap songs of that year. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely has albums that were, well, maybe Thug Motivation 101 wasn't, but the inspiration, come on, bro. There's no way you can't tell me that wasn't a mainstream appealing album. That was definitely put him on the map. You know what I'm saying? And the Recession, come on, bro. No. The Recession definitely was one of a big mainstream crossover street rap album. More than Plies. I mean, Plies got 1 album or 2. Like, no, it's not the same. They're not even in the same category to me. Sorry.
Where street rap would still be the main focus surrounding hip hop. Once 2009 to 2010 hit, artists like Drake and B.O.B. would start to see mainstream attention, and this would shift the landscape of hip hop overnight and pretty much X out street rap all out the mainstream. We would start getting artists like Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, ASAP Rocky, Big Sean, Kendrick Lamar, and y'all know the rest. Different type of rappers that were from the late 90s to late 2000s. This era of
I mean, yeah, because there's a reason for that, though. It wasn't just because these guys showed up. And it's some of the guys, they either was locked up, Lil Wayne was locked up, you know what I'm saying? And then you had some of the rappers just didn't do music at that time. Nas wasn't doing nothing, and Jay-Z wasn't doing nothing. These are street rappers. They wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? And I believe DMX he was still alive. He wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Some of these rappers wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
rap was probably the worst time for street rap in my opinion, with Meek Mill being the only representative of street rap out of the young niggas from 2010 to 2015 in the mainstream. And the only artist
That's a wild statement. He definitely was not the only guy in the mainstream. Even though we don't like to say this, even though we like to hate, Rick Ross was much bigger and he was a street rapper. He was a street rapper, whether he was fake or not fake. He's clearly a street rapper. Clearly. That's all he talked about. You know what I'm saying? And he's much bigger than Meek Mill. I get what you're saying that Meek Mill maybe was, and maybe to you, he held it down, but nah. You know what I'm saying? It was other people at that time that was much bigger than Meek Mill. Like, but let's keep going.
was able to sell actual records and was able to sell out respectable venues to hold his own against the likes of superstars like Kendrick, Cole, Drake, and others. Now, I'm not saying you didn't have street artists who
I
did.
mean, well, again, there's a reason for that. It was because he was a part of that class. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, oh man, because he was holding his own because he was just as good as them. And I know you're probably not saying that. I'm just saying that.
have their moments in this time. You had Walker who had his moment. You had Thug and Rich Homie who had their moment. You had French Montana who had his moment. YG who had his moment. Migos who had their moment. But none of those guys was consistent with having mainstream success outside of Thug and Migos, which will happen later on in another era that I will address in a minute. And Chicago had a major influence.
But that, again, you missing one of the biggest pieces, and that's Rick Ross. You can't say, oh, Rick Ross was probably bigger than all of them. He was a street rapper. So you missing that part. Like you saying, okay, Meek Mill, but who employed Meek Mill? You know what I'm saying? At the time. So let's keep it going. This is a good video. This is a really good video.
And will have a major influence for years to come. But no artist from that Chirac era had mainstream crossover appeal and was able to really sustain commercial success. Keith had his moment.
Well, you got... I hate to keep stopping it because it's a lot of things I just disagree with. Like, and I love videos like this. I love videos like this because I would like to have a conversation with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I think me and him will have a great conversation. Because, I certain things I disagree with. I'm not one of those people that calls people stupid and all this stuff. If I don't like, I like your content. I like content that I disagree with because I get a better understanding of why people feel the way they feel about certain things. But anyway, the reason why that a lot of these rappers don't have mainstream appeal is because, let's be honest here, most street rap breeds negativity. I don't care how you try to color it. When something's negative, whether it's on a smaller scale or a bigger scale, nobody wants to really deal with that because it comes with problems. It comes with a lot of problems. So when you got rappers who all constantly talk about shooting niggas and I'm smoking on this nigga and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, it's very hard for you to get to the mainstream appeal because most people are not like that and you don't want to hear it. That's the thing. But I know that's probably not your argument. I'm just throwing that out there. So let's go.
And then drill kind of fizzled out until it came back later on thanks to King Von. I got to give Meek Mill credit because he really was the last street rapper of this type of rap style to really go mainstream. And when I say rap style, I mean heavy hitting lyrics, heavy aggression, switching flows in between a 16 and really embodying the heart of a spitter. And took pride in making...
I definitely disagree with that. Definitely. But let's keep it going.
Sure he provided motivation in his music through street rap, which is the pure essence of a street rapper to me. Dave East and Don Q are probably the closest I could think of who had a chance but didn't quite make it to Meek level.
You know what I'm saying?
You ever feel out of place in this era, man? Because I've heard you say it's a war on street rappers.
Yeah, it is. The game is like, it'd be like trying to like bounce the street rappers out. It's like bad right now. It's kind of coming back.
But you know why though? You know why they're bouncing y'all out. Nobody wants to hear that all the time. Like, I understand the frustration you can have being a street rapper and then you have to deal with record execs, but you can't get past talking about coke and dope and bitches and cars and shooting niggas, and everything you do is centered around that. And then you wonder why they bouncing you out of here. Because these record execs, they don't understand that. And the core audience, most people, let's be clear here, a good portion of people nowadays are soft as shit. So they don't understand that. They don't want to hear that. Oh, God, he said he's going to shoot him in his face. Oh, no. You ever been with somebody and they listen to a song and they listen to a song, right? And they say to you, oh, turn that off. I don't want to hear all that cursing. And the rapper ain't even curse. He didn't even say no curse word. But they feel like it's violent to the ears. They don't want to hear it. And it's not that they just bouncing street rappers out because they're not good. No, nobody wants to hear it because it's negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love street rap. And I'll play it in the comfort of my own home. But let's be honest, the masses don't really care for it because it's too negative. That's just the truth.
Boosie just came home.
Mm-hmm.
Hove just jumped on a real street record. Meek Mill back in effect. You know what I mean? About to come with this new second album.
And what is street rap really? Like when you say street rap, what are you talking about? What's on the streets? Are you being a street narrator like Nas was, or are you talking about pushing coke and shooting dope and shooting up guns and shooting up people's houses and their mother's a bitch and all that stuff? What are we talking about here? Are you giving lessons to people who are never gonna go to the streets? Are you passing out lessons to those people? Because what are we doing here? That's the reason why people don't care for it. People trying to move past that. Negativity breeds negativity. Let's just be clear.
You even got to think about who are the street rappers out here is a problem.
Yeah, it ain't a lot. It ain't
not
really
too
a
many
lot.
anymore.
So they be like, oh, you rap about money, cars. I seen Kid Cudi say, yeah, they rap about money, cars, and hoes and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, bro, we don't tell y'all what to rap about. If he choose to rap about sniffing coke, I ain't gonna say nothing about him.
But you see, he didn't deny that. You didn't deny it, Meek. You ain't deny it. That's the reason why street rappers don't last. That's why.
Rapping about that. If J. Cole want to rap about college, I might want to hear the experience of college. I never been to college, you know what I'm saying? I don't worry about. Rap is rap, man. It's about how you putting them words together, how you making them flows sound on that beat, and how you making good music. I don't like Tupac. You can't say Tupac your favorite rapper if you ain't trying to hear nobody talk about the streets. Right. Jay-Z.
But Tupac didn't only rap about the streets. That's the thing. And that's the reason why a lot of street rappers never make it. Tupac didn't only rap about the streets. Tupac rapped about a whole bunch of other things too. Biggie did too. They was versatile. That's what a lot of street rappers don't understand. They think that they can talk about their struggle, and half of them don't be talking about their struggle. They be talking about somebody else's struggle. They millionaires talking about how they still pushing coke. Never even touched coke before in their life. Talking about how they pushing coke still. Like, I'm just being clear, being honest.
Hey, you can't say it. What is y'all saying? I don't understand it.
Fast forward to 2015, by this time, Future had started building a core fan base from all his previous mixtapes like Monster, Beast Mode, and 50 Cent's Nights. And these series of mixtapes will be the beginning of street rap slowly starting to take over again. These mixtapes, in my opinion, made Future a superstar and saved him from being middle of the pack in his career forever. Because Future up to that point to me was the rap version of Ty Dolla $ign and Jeremiah. It's clear he was going to be around because he knew how to craft a hit, so he always was going to be around. He had racks on racks, had Bugatti, had Honest. Future knew how to make a hit. It was clear as day he knew how to make a hit. But knowing how to make a hit doesn't automatically mean you're going to amass a huge fan base, contrary to popular belief. You will.
So here's my thing, right? With a lot of these arguments when it comes to mainstream media, right? I remember back then when most fans hated the fact that rappers were mainstream. I remember when Biggie made Hypnotize and people was like, oh, he fell off. He fell off. I can't believe he's doing commercial now. He went commercial. The same thing when it came to Jay-Z and Hard Knock Life. Oh man, he going commercial. He used an Annie sample. It's playing on Q102. He's commercial. He fell off. Now, y'all gauge hip hop by how successful somebody is by being crossovers and being more mainstream. So it's not the fact that you're sitting here saying that rappers or street rappers are successful by being street rappers. You're saying that they have to have crossover and mainstream appeal for them to be successful, even though people hated the fact that people were crossovers and mainstream appeal. People hated that. Now it's like it has to be a part of it now. And I'm not blaming you for it. I'm just saying that's the talking point that you're using. And to me, it's kind of weird because a lot of people hated commercial rap. Now y'all saying that these rappers have to be commercial. It's crazy to me.
Amass a huge base of listeners who will listen to your songs when they're on the radio or when it's on playing in the club or something. Because it's good, but they are not about to check out your whole catalog because they don't know the artists outside of their names and the songs they are playing. You have to build a personal connection with an audience for them to truly invest their time and energy into you. Future was smart to go on that.
I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I kind of agree, but semi-disagree with that. I do believe that people, when they hear something in a club, some people might not go check, but a good portion of people will probably check for your catalog because they want to know what else you got. Some people will. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, that's how you build a fan base. Whether you're saying that people in the club listen to you casually, but if you, the reason why most people want people to listen to their stuff in the club is because they want people to go and listen to their stuff, all the rest of their stuff. So they pay, they look, could you play this record in the club? And they say, who's that? Oh, it's Future. Oh, yeah, that's Future. Oh, shit, I'm going to go look him up. Damn, what album was that on? Yeah, people do. Absolutely, people use the club to look up stuff.
Mixtape run and truly build and construct a solid fan base he could lean on for years. And it was the perfect mix for Future, because once he built that core, mixed with his hit-making ability, he was out of here. Jeremiah and Ty Dolla $ign still to this day have been unable to do what Future did, and that's why they are stuck in the place they're in and can never sell an album. And this,
and again, that right there is a loaded answer. Ty Dolla $ign, I see this video came out 4 days ago. I believe you made this 4 days ago. Ty Dolla $ign, I believe it's Ty Dolla $ign. Ty Dolla $ign just did an album with Kanye West. Like, if that's not successful, come on, bro. He just did an album with Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about Jeremiah, but Ty Dolla $ign is pretty big. There are people like him. Maybe he's not as big as Future, but he definitely, if he drop an album, he's going to sell. And I'll break down the album things later, but hold on.
not a diss to them. It's just the truth, because they both are great artists. But anyway, Future will release DS2, and this will be one of the best performing street albums in years, outside of a Meek Mill album. This album will open the door for the Drake and Future album, What a Time to Be Alive. And I don't think people understand how important this album was for trap and street music in general. Not because this album was anything special or anything like that, but this album exposed the whole world to this Metro Boomin sound because of Drake's star power at this time. The demand for Future and Metro Boomin went all the way up because of this album. And once Bad and Bougie dropped by the Migos in 2016, it'll officially change the landscape of mainstream rap, with the Migos being the front face of how street rap will be presented to the mainstream for that era, which was very different from how street rap was in the past. And don't get me wrong, artists like Young Thug were already doing this.
I don't agree with that fully. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree with that fully, because there were other artists too that were doing their thing. It wasn't just the Migos doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I understand where you're coming from. Let's go.
Before the Migos with Metro Thuggin' and stuff like that. But Bad and Bougie was just a turning point of where mainstream hip hop was starting to go, and this will open the door for street rap to take over again. The Migos,
but again, even with the Migos, right? They released Bad and Bougie. You do know that song wasn't that successful at first. It really wasn't. It was successful, but it wasn't as big until your boy said something about them at a award show, and he revived their career. Who was it? Daniel Glover, I believe. Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino was the reason why they became big again. Why they became big, because they was there, but nobody really cared. They was there, even with the Culture one, that was good, really good album. They was there, but when he said, "Y'all need to go listen to Bad and Bougie," that actually is a really classic record. That record is amazing. They blew up after that. That's when they became like, oh shit, like they really blew up after that. So I don't agree with that fully. You know what I'm saying? I think they did their thing, but not like that.
Bad and Bougie opened the door for street rappers to come back in. Even if they didn't use the Metro Boomin sound, the street aura, the street aesthetic had made its way back into the mainstream like it hadn't been in the past 5 to 6 years. Artists like Migos, 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Nipsey Hussle, Kodak Black, the resurgence of Lil Durk, Polo G, Roddy Ricch, Pooh Shiesty, King Von, Moneybagg Yo, and the whole drill rap wave out of New York will go on to dominate the charts and have mainstream success throughout 2017 all the way up until about 2022, being the main subgenre of hip-hop during those times. But around the end of 2022, things will start going downhill for street rap on a mainstream level, with street rappers' albums starting not to live up to expectations.
But wait a minute, bro. Nah, you're picking out these street rappers that you're picking out outside of Nipsey Hussle. these street rappers you're picking out, they are more pop street rappers. And I don't say that with any disrespect. I'm just saying, like, they're not your typical street rappers. I should say that. They're not your typical street rappers. You left out Griselda. You left out Benny the Butcher, Freddie Gibbs. These guys were big, and they were selling records too, and they were mainstream. You didn't even talk about Freddie Gibbs. Maybe you're going to talk about Freddie Gibbs, and maybe you're going to talk about Benny the Butcher. I don't know. But they are the reason. They're the reason why street rap is respected, in my opinion. It's Benny the Butcher and all of that whole wave over there. They're the reason why. They started a cult following. The Griselda, Benny the Butcher, and you didn't even mention Styles P, Jada Kiss. They were mainstream. The Locks were mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Unless you talking like, and I believe, like, when was We Are the Streets? We Are the Streets came after. I believe We Are the Streets that was in 2000s or something. I believe it was in 2000. I don't think that was in the 90s. Either way, like, but the guys you're picking out, they're more, they're not the same type of street rappers. You know what I'm saying? They're more broader, appealing street rappers. But Benny the Butcher and Griselda, I would say Conway, all of these dudes, they move shit, bro. They move shit. You know what I'm saying? They definitely did.
Like Roddy Ricch, Live Life Fast being received poorly, Polo G's Hall of Fame album being received poorly, and Lil Baby It's Only Me album being received poorly by the masses. And I'm going to be honest, I think at that point people got tired of that trap melodic flow and rhyme scheme that was dominating at the time. People wanted more and were expecting more from street rappers, and that was never going to happen in street rap because the content matter and subject matter are the main selling points of street rap. And with
Then you can't, bro. Then you can't make the argument that the people they should have crossover appeal or big appeal. You can't make that argument then, because you already said that they're limited in what they're talking about. Most people don't want to hear that, so they're already at a disadvantage, especially if they can't really rap well. If they're just talking about busting guns and fucking me and my man, we fucked the girl in the back of the truck. And it's like, if they talking about that, there's no poetic, no nothing to it. Nobody's gonna care. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna care.
that era, street music not really prioritizing bars or no originality between themselves, it was bound to dry out. The majority of street rappers during this era all sounded the same for the most part, with that little singing, melodic flow. Another reason why street rap was started.
I definitely don't understand why you would put Nipsey Hussle in the category of them niggas. He's totally different from them. You know what I'm saying? Totally different. Don't even sound like them dudes. You know what I'm saying? But I respect it. Let's go.
Drown out is that a lot of top street rappers or rising street rappers will end up getting taken out. Rappers like Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, and King Von are the biggest three. With King Von, in my opinion, single-handedly bringing drill music back. No telling how far King Von would have gone with his storytelling ability. Now, I'm not saying they would have saved street rap from falling off, but it turns fans off when their favorite artist that they rooting for ends up dying in a subgenre. It can evaporate a whole subgenre. Think about it. When XSX, Juice WRLD, and Lil Peep, when all those three passed away, that subgenre basically passed away with them. Kid Laroi was the last one left in that subgenre, and he switched his whole style up and went full pop. Now, to this present day, street rap is in an interesting place. First and foremost, I like that most of these new age street rappers sound like where they from, and that hasn't been the case in about a decade. When I hear Rob 49, I hear Louisiana. When I hear Skilla Baby, I hear Detroit. When I hear Bossman D-Lo or Boston Richie, I hear Florida. When I hear Von off 1700, I hear Chicago. When I hear YTB Fat, I hear Arkansas. These new street rappers have very distinct sounds, and I can appreciate originality even if it's on the smallest level.
Now, I 100% agree with that. A lot of these newer rappers, they do have their own, they try not to sound like other people. And that goes back to what it was before. Because before people, it was disrespectful if you sound like somebody else. Then it became a thing where everybody tried to sound like each other. But yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And a lot of them coming with their own production sound and mix to make them separate apart from one another. They all just not going to Metro or whoever the hot producer is. When street rap was popping from 2017 to 2022, that was one of my biggest pet peeves. Everybody was sounding the same. I knew it was out of hand when I heard Roddy's.
Bro, you listening to these mainstream street rappers. If you talking about street rappers, a good portion of them are not mainstream 100%. So you could go down the list, bro. You got the whole trust, from Black Noir to Ransom, Flea Lord, El Camino, what's the boys' names? The Flatbush Zombies, Ransom, what's that? Stove God Cooks. All these people were street rappers, bro. Stove God Cooks probably has the best album. Ransom and Stove God Cooks, to me, the best street albums I heard in maybe the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? The Reasonable Drought and the death scenes, what's the name? Murder scenes, stories by Ransom. You know what I'm saying? So if you talking about, what we talking about here? Are you talking about mainstream street rappers, or are you talking about street rappers? And we ain't just talking about underground, because these dudes are not just underground. You got Benny the Butcher, you got Conway the Machine, like, and we talking about 2022. Like, what? Since 2018, these dudes been running. It's probably more than that. You know what I'm saying? During the whole COVID thing, Benny and them was dropping classics. I'm talking like super classics. So if you're just picking apart the mainstream rappers who you think is street rappers because they have mainstream appeal, because the record label put them in that position, but you saying street rap, no, you got to look for the other street rappers who was really doing it. That's what I'm saying.
Debut album, and I thought Young Thug was singing one of the tracks when it was really Roddy the whole time. That's when I realized it was really getting out of hand. I also salute artists like Lil Durk, Future, and Lil Baby, who are really big and giving these guys a big look early.
Yeah, you're picking out mainstream street rappers, and maybe that's your argument. Maybe that is your argument, that the mainstream street rappers. But I'm saying, if you're going to say street rappers, then you have to mention Griselda. There's no way you cannot mention Griselda in this whole video. You have to mention Benny the Butcher. He's probably the spearhead of street rap, and the reason why street rap is where it is. Not mainstream. And he's mainstream. He's mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
On in their careers, with Lil Baby being featured on Vulture Island with Rod 49, Lil Durk being featured on Boston Richie's Keep Dissing 2, and Future being featured on Bullseye 2. They could have gatekept and hated and made them folks build their whole buzz on their own, but they sped them boys' process up. Really trying to pass the torch to the next wave of artists in their subgenre, but nobody has really broken out in street rap yet for this era. So as an overall subgenre, it's middle of the pack right now. Right now, the only three artists keeping it afloat are Future, Lil Durk, and Lil Baby. But Lil Baby and Durk right now on the thin line with fans. But
see what I mean? Like you're picking out artists that you believe that has crossover mainstream appeal, but then saying that they're street rappers. And they look like, and again, this is no disrespect to them, but it looks like it's manufactured. You know what I'm saying? It looks like a pop video. Like, these street rappers look like they're in a pop video. It's colorful. It's this and this has nothing to do with their credibility. It's just the way they present it. They present it as if it's something. I understand that anybody can present something like that, but at the same time, like, you can't ignore these guys over here who are real street rappers, and they're really doing it. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna, you have to include all of them. If you're just going off of their mainstream appeal, but then complaining about rappers not being mainstream because they don't have the content, because their content doesn't make them mainstream because they talk about stuff that people don't want to hear. It's like, what's the argument here? I don't understand.
Their next album's going to determine the trajectory of their careers and a whole for street rap in general. Boston Richie up to this point had the best chance to blow out of the new regime of artists. He had been signed by Future and had co-signs from everybody, from Dirk to Lil Baby. And the thing about Boston was
you're talking about the same people. You saying like, oh, everything you said is in a certain section. You and these rappers maybe these rappers to you may be pretty big to you or whatever, but every rapper you named, you saying that you want rappers to sound different, but most of the rappers you named, they all sound the same. They all sound the same. So you stand in a whole certain section. Oh, he got his cosign from this guy and this guy, this guy. You only person you mentioned that was different was Meek Mill, but you ain't mentioned that. Styles dropped a couple of albums. He's street rapper. Jada dropped some albums. He's street rapper. Benny, and a bunch of other people that I named, they all street rappers. They drop albums. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Able to carry a track by himself with his own flow and street stories. He didn't really need any features. The features just helped put a spotlight on him. Plus, he had the street stamp from Florida, with the whole state vouching for his character. But all that would come crashing down when he would get exposed as a snitch, and his trajectory went from rising star to just trying to maintain, and that hurt street rap in my opinion. In order for a subgenre or a genre in general to keep surviving, you need to keep pumping out superstars to hold the fort down, so to say. And Boston was initially.
And okay, so what type of superstars are we talking about here? We talking about microwave superstars, or we talking about long-lasting superstars? I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? You're saying you need to pump out superstars, but what type of superstars? What are we talking about?
Going to be that one, but Skilla Baby and Raw 49 are looking very promising right now, just because of the fact they are incorporating a lot of chick-friendly tracks as their singles, with tracks like Mama, What's Happening.
Bro, this is what I mean. Like, that's what I'm talking about. What are you saying? You saying they're street rappers who have crossover mainstream appeal that does music for people who are really not street? Like, what are we talking about here? I don't understand your argument, because you're saying like, oh well, these street rappers, they make songs for the girls. Is that what really street rappers do? Like, I don't know. Maybe the new age street rappers do. But are you pinning this all on them being successful, using terms that street people use? I don't understand.
Baby, Homebody, Icky Vicky, and Bay, which in this era is a smart move from a business standpoint, because these have been their biggest tracks and have made them ladies' men in a way. They both have admitted they don't necessarily like making these tracks, but they see how well they perform, so they do it.
I don't think your position is you're defending this. I know you're not. I'm saying you're just repeating what they're saying, but I'm saying, playing devil's advocate here, how can you put your stake behind somebody who is doing something that they really don't want to do? And I get it when people say, well, you got it. No, you don't. You don't have to. Nipsey didn't do that. He did not do that. They didn't sign him until right before he was ended, tragically. You know what I'm saying? But he did what he did what he was supposed to do. He kept it true to himself. It's like, okay, so you want to jump levels by putting out songs that you know that's not you. It doesn't make sense.
On the label, I could do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to do it sell, So I got to go lean more towards the girls, because this was selling.
Mm-hmm.
This was going to bring in plaques. I can't just...
You see what I mean? So it's like, this is manufactured. Oh, well, I got to do what the label tell me to do. You can actually do a girl song. Biggie did it, and it still be fire, and it still be street. You can do that. You can still do that. But I think a lot of them, they lean all the way to the right or all the way to the left, and they totally don't sound like themselves. Totally don't.
Put out, because you on sale on the label, you getting dropped. Your money, you ain't getting no more money. So it's like, I wanna be for the streets. I wanna rap my life. I wanna, you feel me? But this is what sells. It's not about what you want.
So you basically saying that you basically saying you're faking to make the money. That's basically what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? You're basically saying like, well, I have to do what I got to do to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I actually respect you for saying that because most people wouldn't say that. They'll be like, nah, they'll lie. I respect that.
To do is not what Rob want to put out. It's not what the people want Rob to put out. He got to do that. He can't put out what I'm pretty sure he got some songs where he want to say F the world and everything, but he can't do that because he know it's ill. Rob know it's ill for him. He know bring it blanks.
And that goes right back to my point about people don't want to hear all that. So what happens now if you make a single and the single blows up and you lean more towards the right or the left, and then you put out another single, and the record label is gonna say, you might as well keep making music like this, and you're gonna end up being like that. And then what's gonna happen? All the people in the hood are gonna like it. They're gonna be, oh man, this guy, he just doing the music for the money. And then you tell them, well, I had to do it because I was trying to make money. And then when you come out with a song, they're like, I'm not really feeling that. Then you try to go back to your old stuff and be like, oh, now you want to come back to the streets now. That's how people think.
All right.
Do you enjoy the records like Bay and Mama?
Not for real. That ain't even my type of music.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it
That's
short.
crazy.
And that's another thing too that artists gotta understand. If you making music, everything you do, you supposed to love. It's yours. It's your baby. You don't just do it for clout or just for money. Anything you do. So when I used to do music, everything I did, I loved everything I did. Everything I did. I made sure that I put a lot of time and effort into it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't like it, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But if you coming out the gate saying you don't like your own music, how you expect people to like your music? I won't even go look you up now because you said something like that. That's crazy.
I can see in the future if more street rappers go this lane, because street rappers are really trapped right in between a rock and a hard place right now. Because there's not really any outlets to support street rappers when it comes to talking about the music side of things. Not the drama.
I get what you're saying on that point. But on that point, that's because they're not creative enough. They're not creative enough. Benny the Butcher is very creative. And guess what? He's probably going to be around for a long time, longer than them. They might be successful right now, right away, but he's going to be around for a long time. You know what I'm saying? A long time.
That involves street beefs and things like that. Don't get me wrong, that is part of street music. The drama, the sets, the neighborhoods, the street beef, but most outlets only talk about that. They never care about the artist's upbringing, the artist's lyrics, or the artist's goals in the game. Just straight drama. The only people I can think of who have a big platform who talk about street music outside of just the drama are places like Gilly and Wallow, Say Cheese TV, Bad Talk, and Drink Champs. So they kind of got to make...
I mean, but again, you're asking for trouble when you are constantly rapping about this stuff. And that's what you talk about. You can't say that people are demonizing them when they are presenting themselves as demons. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. A lot of street rappers, they present themselves as mob bosses and crooks and killers. So do I have to understand where he came from? Do I have to understand where Pablo Escobar came from? No, I just know he's Pablo Escobar. I don't have to understand where he came from. Nobody's going to ask, well, how did he become Pablo Escobar? So why do we have to ask that about street rappers? It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you present yourself, Nipsey Hussle presented himself as a street rapper, but he was interesting because he just didn't talk about street shit. He talked about more than street shit. He talked about black men becoming successful in entrepreneurship. Most people known him for that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And he was a street rapper. So when you present yourself as just a killer, you don't offer anything else, and that's all you... I don't want to hear an interview where you talking about, well, the reason why I do what I do is because my uncle, he put a gun in my hand at 6 years old, and I had to pop off the gun, and he said he was going to whoop my ass if I didn't, and I'm 33 now, and that messed me up for life. Like, come on, bro. Nigga, you 33 for life and it's messed you up. You should have got some help a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Some niggas are real street niggas. They listen, they like, no, I'm just a street nigga. Straight up and down. I'm not bending the knee. So, I don't know.
These type of tracks to really move up and really gain mainstream attention with posts and support from the Shade Room and the Neighborhood Talk for some positive promo. This is not the traditional route for a street rapper, but I understand it because, like I said, right now, not a lot of promotion or talking heads for street rappers in a positive light. Another reason why street hip-hop is in a bad spot right now is a lot of fans of hip-hop don't think it's cool as it once was. The big jury, the big entourage, the overly tough acts, some
that is 100% facts. That's facts right there.
street artists do turns fans off in this era. In a different era, it was looked at as a cool thing. The fans, they'll pay attention to the drama if it's talked about because most people like drama and the shit it comes with. Y'all can get on this app and cap like it's not the truth, but that's what it is. So they'll pay attention to the real life ramifications of these street rappers, but a lot won't check out the music solely off that anymore. And if they do,
that's another facts, and that's 100% facts. A lot of people, but street rappers present themselves like that. If you present yourself as a killer and a boss, and you do more talking than you actually rapping, but then when you do a song, they nobody go check for it. They want to know what the tea is, what the drama is. That's all they gonna check for. They gonna check for the bullshit that you on. Oh, this nigga's on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put it to you like this. I don't really know too much about King Von, but I do know that he was ruthless. See what I mean? You see what I mean? Most people do. That's what it is. Like, those people don't really know a lot of these artists. They know how ruthless they is, but they don't really know their music. I know more about King Ron being ruthless than him actually his actual music. And that's how the masses are when it comes to these certain street rappers.
it won't be for the long haul. But some street rappers don't understand this and think them saying outrageous and doing outrageous things will work for them like it did back then. This nigga Von off 1700 might have said the most ignorant shit of the whole year on a No Jumper interview, claiming if any of his ops pass, it's because of him or his gang. And I don't know if this nigga was trolling or serious, but this some crazy shit to say, bruh. I'm not even going to lie.
Killing the ops for. I don't give no fuck. We is killing their ass for. So tell them we is killing them for. That's what we doing to the ops for. When they die, look at us. Yes.
But when you say we, you're not saying that you.
This is why I can't respect shows like No Jumper. I can't. They platform these young black men to basically tell on themselves and set themselves up for their own demise. It's like, what are we doing here? Why are we even letting this guy interview one of our young black men for him to say something like that? He should have stopped him, said, no, bro, don't talk like that. Nah, we good. And he doubling down. So what you saying is you not really saying that you gonna be the one to do it, right? The same thing with DJ Vlad. These dudes platform black men to either get themselves jammed up, and they don't do it. I'm not gonna go as far as saying that Vlad and them do it on purpose for black men to be locked up, but I do believe that they have they don't give them no pushback on it. They just let them talk. Like, oh, Sue Surf said something about that before. He was like, you put people on here to tell on themselves. I'm not going to get on here and tell myself. You crazy. No, that's not. Yes, you do. You ask them questions and they get themselves lined up. You know what I'm saying?
Personally want to be involved in anything like this, right?
We team, whatever you want to call it, we is killing their ass, man. Niggas be on here talking about these interviews if an interview gonna get me locked up, let me know now, cause I'm going to trial as soon as they say, yeah, we got this evidence from this.
You see what I mean? Like, they use all this stuff against us. And it's crazy how this is, this is crazy to me. This is crazy. This is very sad. Like, very sad. This is very sad. You know what I'm saying? And these people, their minds are on just go. That's it. Their minds, they don't have a way of thinking objectively. It's like, I don't care, this is what it is. Even if you explain to them, I don't care, this is what it is. It's like they already dug a hole and they just ready to jump in at any day. They don't care. It's crazy.
Interview. If y'all don't get y'all dumbass on,
Yeah. I mean,
I hope street rappers like Von and others realize this type of shock value will only temporarily work and will not work long term in this era. Everybody has seen and heard it all, mostly thanks to Chicago's influence. From dissing the dead to pissing on grave sites to everything. That type of shock value I think wore off after Who I Smoked from Young and Ace. That was the last of that. Fans will still go out looking for the next hit from these street artists like a drug addict, but it won't get them their fix like it was back in the day. I don't think street rap anytime soon will be the number one subgenre in hip-hop because it's just a lot more subgenres to the liking of hip-hop youth right now, like the underground, female hip-hop, and others. But I think it's got its place in hip-hop though. It hasn't faded at all. Bossman D-Lo is probably the biggest out of these new street rappers right now, but we have to see how long that lasts because people are already complaining about his flow and it haven't even been a year. But he hasn't shown me a receipt that's going to separate himself from others and give him staying power right now to me. He looks like just a moment in time, but time will tell it though.
Yeah, man, that was an amazing video. That was an amazing video. I disagree with a lot of things that he had to say, but he put a lot of effort and a lot of time into it. You know what I mean? I appreciate that about a lot of these YouTubers who does this, you know. Certain things that I just disagree with, certain things I feel as though that he gave his opinion on, certain things I agreed with. But that was an amazing video. I have to give him his props. He did his thing. He will be in the description. July Jackson, source, you know, so go follow him. He has a lot of videos. He has one other video that I want to react to. It's called Why Black People Can Never Own the music industry. And I watched half of it and I said, yeah, a lot of stuff he said on there, I totally agree with. And I really didn't give too much pushback on that because he was saying some straight facts. So we ain't always going to agree on everything, but, you know, that's what it is. But as far as the street rappers go, I think street rap is always going to be where it's at because it's one of those things that it has a life cycle on it because most people don't want to hear that because you got to understand, street rappers talk about the streets. A good portion of people are not from the streets that buy this music. So they are listening and they are following something that they really don't know anything about. So they're going to get tired of it eventually because it just sounds like it's something exciting. That's what street rap is. It's very exciting at first. And then it becomes boring when you get another album and then the same album sounds as if it was the last 3 albums. You can't, it's only but so many ways you can flip coke and have trap houses and bust nines. It's only so much. You have to be creative with your bars. And that's where most of the rappers who are street rappers like Benny the Butcher, Ransom, Stove God Cooks, they are great street rappers, but they're poetic street rappers. And they last long. Most of their verses be bulletproof. I'm talking about amazing verses. You know what I mean? 38 Special and all these artists, they're phenomenal at what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you go to that side where the Trust and El Camino and all of them over there and Flea Lord, these dudes drop music all the time. I'm talking like they drop so much material. I'm saying to myself, how do you make 12 albums in a whole year? You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, Freddie Gibbs, you know, your boys, Dave East. All of these dudes they're pretty good street rappers. And they're not just generic street rappers. I'm not saying that these dudes are generic. I'm just saying, like, compared to them, they're poetic street rappers. And a lot of times when you want to hear a street rapper, if they could come up with some lines that are like double entendres or certain things mean 3 or 4 different things in one bar, Yeah, that's the type of street rappers I like. So, but either way, man, make sure y'all go subscribe to his page. That was a great video. All right, man, I'm out of here. See y'all. Peace. Bye. Have a good night.